Wednesday, January 18, 2023. Notice of this meeting was emailed to the press and the Mainland Journal. Notice was also delivered that day to the Egg Harbor Township Clerk and posted on the bulletin board in Township Hall.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Bongiorno?
Here.
Mr. Delabarka?
Here.
Mrs. Gilbert Floyd?
Here.
Ms. Hyman?
Here.
Mr. Ireland?
Here.
Mr. Price?
Here.
Mr. Seppi?
Here.
Mrs. Sullivan?
Here.
And Mrs. Slog.
Here. Okay, can we stand for the flag salute, please? We need a motion for minutes,
Mr. Price, I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
4.1 to 4.4. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Bongiorno?
Yes.
Mr. Delabarka?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilbert Floyd?
Yes.
Ms. Hyman?
Yes.
Mr. Ireland?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Seppi?
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan?
Yes.
And Mrs. Slog.
Yes. Okay, Dr. Bruscio.
Okay, good evening. Yeah, now I am. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the final board meeting of 2023 school year. Lots going on this week, and if you're new to our meetings, I report out on events that occur under our student learning goals, and that's part of the superintendent's job to report to the board an update on how we are achieving those goals. Some of that information is shared here in public. Other information is covered in the committee meetings, the curriculum meeting, policy meeting, and finance meeting. Under student achievement, Medical Science Academy visited the Rutgers Cadaver Lab. Our Culinary Academy students went to Parado's and learned about cooking skills. So they had the opportunities, these groups had the opportunities to leave the school and gain educational experiences, hands-on opportunities outside the school. Adaptive physical education, there's our crew there. Had a great time with bowling, and the hour of code occurred in our schools in the month of December. Congratulations to the middle school orchestra, all South Jersey. Those young folks right there are being recognized for their great talents, and I look at that and I say, middle school, wow, what's high school going to be? They're going to be great. And our high school orchestra, congratulations to these folks right here for violin. More congratulations, and Dr. Kadetsky called me up. He said, darn, my record was broken. All the years that he served as our band director and led our orchestras in our music program. We're raking it in here. Students in EHT are doing a great job outside our schools and in the competitions that they're engaged in. So great job. Congratulations. Under climate and culture, a lot of fun things going on. Winter concerts, there's still one tomorrow night, choir concert at the high school. We have pajama days and dress-up days, Renaissance door decorating contests, cultural traditions were celebrated. We had spirit weeks in all our schools, 12 days of kindness at Miller School. So we announced our teacher of the year, educational special services professional of the year, and we had students of the week that were honored. So if you get a closer look at this presentation, you'll get to see some of our students and the great things they're doing. As far as community partnership, the Village Grand, again this year, raised money, $13,825. That's 153 gift cards that they gave to our students at Eagle, Alder, Davenport, and the Swift Slaywell Complex. So we're very grateful for their efforts. Mr. Sakin emailed me, and I said, wow, again, I said, thank you so much. And he said he's so proud of what goes on and the generosity over there at Village Grand. Food bank, donations were made from our schools. Our students collected toys, diapers, there's a giving tree, and the Atlantic County Teen Summit was held again here in Egg Harbor Township. It was at the high school a couple weeks ago, and it's a great thing for the county teens get together to discuss issues that they have and things they want to work on. And also a thank you to Home Depot, who came to our preschools and spent some time with them. So it's our partners working together with the schools, and we encourage more of that. All right, we're going to move on to our Soaring Star staff for the month of December, well, actually for November, recognized by their peers and also by their department supervisors. So we will begin with facilities. Mr. Woodrow's here. He's going to come up here and help me present this award.
Rosa, you here? Come on up.
Rosa, thank you for your efforts and the pride that you have in the job that you do each and every day here in Egg Harbor Township School District. Okay, next, transportation. Ms. Fisher? Hello.
Hi, this month's award goes to, sorry, I have no voice, goes to Cindy Albertson. Cindy's been a bus driver for over 20 years. She's our driver trainer. She is on all of the volunteer committees. She's our main liaison between the drivers and administration. She volunteers for everything. She fills in when drivers are having a problem on a run. She'll take it over. She'll ride with them. She'll try to mentor them. She does everything. So, well deserved.
Congratulations, Cindy. I know we go way back when I was administrator at the high school. I also worked with your students, with your children. So we've known each other for a while, and great job. Always service with a smile. So dining services, Mr. Beck.
I would like to introduce Diana Doherty. She's been with me for 20-plus years from the Miller School. Diana's been in school lunch programs for over 25 years, and there's not too many more people that have the tenacity that she does as far as making sure things are right at our elementary school. So, Diana, love you. You do a great job. So, thank you very much.
All right, congratulations, Diana. Serves our students just like you serve our own children with care and with passion. And just gives folks an idea of what goes on, in our district, behind the scenes, if you will, in some of these situations. But, our kids wouldn't get to school, they wouldn't be fed, and the schools wouldn't be cleaned if it weren't for the people, that do those things. So, great job. Enjoy the shirts, wear them with pride. Okay, we're going to move on to our video, and happy holidays from EHT Administration and Board of Education. Together by Alan Vargas. A little holiday music.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening. A beautiful sight, we're happy tonight. Walking in a winter wonderland. Gone away is the bluebird. Here to stay is a new bird. To sing a love song while we stroll along. Walking in a winter wonderland. In the meadow we can build a snowman. We'll pretend that he is Parson Brown. He'll say I am married, we'll say no man. But you can do the job when you're in town. Later on we'll conspire as we dream by the fire. To face unafraid the plans that we made. Walking in the winter wonderland. a snowman. We'll pretend that he is Parson Brown. We'll say, are you ready? We'll say, no, man. But you can do the job when you're in town. Later on, we'll conspire as we dream by the fire. The face unafraid, the plans that we made. Walking in a winter wonderland. Walking in a winter wonderland. Walking in a winter wonderland.
I don't know if that would catch you in the mood. If that doesn't, gives you a recap of all the great things going on, festive things going on in the school district this month. So that concludes my presentation on the goals and the things that are going on, and we now will continue with what we started last month with our budgeting process, all right? So we're going to begin with Mr. Curtis Woodrow. He's going to present to the board what's going on in facilities and what's being requested. Okay, there you go. It's all yours.
All right, so we were going to go through kind of where we were, what we've got accomplished, where we are presently, and where we're planning to go. Rooftop HVAC project at the high school, we replaced 12 units out of 47 through the summer. As you can see, the size of these units are significant, so the process was an effort to get it done in 4 weeks, or in 10 weeks. With that came new graphics with each unit, so we have new automation with each of the units, so we have reliable access to the systems. 104 VAV boxes were also done throughout the district in the high school. Each control, these are each individual classrooms. I think there's 350 total. We only did 104 in this project. The 60 horsepower pumps were done in the main boiler plant, upgraded there. We also brought up the new automation in the boiler plant, so we're more reliable and can deal with things more remotely. We replaced at Swift the 220-ton chillers and the pumping systems. New graphics came along with that also. Slade Ball Elementary replaced 2 140-ton chillers and the pumping systems over the summer. This all happened this summer. And over at this is also the graphics. That one we came up with also doing the Davenport Elementary 265-ton chillers and pumping systems. So that was the conglomerate of everything we squeezed in over this past summer. Domestic boilers replaced at the high school, new efficiency, domestic boilers. Siding project that you've seen going on now. This is the 1980s vintage siding on the building, the stone, which is starting to crack, and we're going to start getting water infiltration in the building. So it was time to start replacing that. So what we did, we put a coating. As you see, the green coating's a rubber sprayed-on coating, which is a vapor barrier, and then new metal siding that matches some of the additions. So it all now looks like one seamless building once it's complete. We're coming up on the punch list on that right now, so that should be done in about 2 more weeks. So it turned out very, very nice. High school, all of those 3 buildings, we did doors. We did 557 doors this past summer. Year, replaced fire doors and things were not functioning correctly. We still have a lot more doors to do, so there'll be more projects coming up with new door projects. High school, we did a couple of schools. With the rooftop units at the high school, we also decided to add a storage unit up there because all the filters, all the equipment's got to be hauled up, hatched to the roof to get working. So now we can lift the stuff up with a lull or a pie reach and load up the container so everything is up there when it needs to be serviced. The Davenport cafeteria, the exterior doors were not ADA compliant, so we ripped those out a few weeks ago, redid those, put in all ADA compliant sidewalks to those doors. So readily accessible. Upgraded the drainage in the 2 primary playgrounds. We had some issues with standing water. We went in, re-engineered that, got that been working great. Even this last torrential rain, it's dry, so it worked out well. Also created more ADA access to all of the pieces of equipment. Our drainage pipe project at Alder and Fernwood, ongoing. These are some of the previous repairs. We'll have ongoing repairs for the next couple of years so we can get through some of these pipes that are starting to age out in the systems. Did the ADA upgrades at Alder on the bus parking lot side. We were able to kind of incorporate that when we did the piping because we had to tear out some of the sidewalks, so it's a good time to upgrade to ADA compliant sidewalks. That's kind of where we are and where we've been, and this is kind of a list of what we're looking to get into. Almost in the same realm of what those projects were. HVAC, these are more hot water pumping systems. Slayball and Swift. Slayball primary, we have the absorption units, which are problematic. We're trying to look into engineering on how we're going to phase those out. Davenport elementary rooftop units. Rooftop units also at Swift and Slayball. Alder rooftop units, HVAC replacements. Fernwood chiller, we're working on that one. That's about 35 years old, the 2 chillers there. Then your standard flooring upgrades, roofing refurbishing, we're trying to get through, and replacement. Building automation upgrades have started. We're doing about half the district through the ESIP project, through the LED upgrades, and the other half we've already started that process. And then of course, we're going to continue door replacement as needed, fire doors, and keep everything up to code. Any questions?
Do a great job.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Curtis. A whole lot going on in facilities area, and there's a whole lot that has to be done, just like anything else, like your home. You know, you fix one thing, the next thing breaks down, or, you know, in a couple of years, you know, it has to be maintained. And we have a whole lot of folks here each and every day. It's important that we have a comfortable and adequate space and facilities for them. All right, moving on to the infrastructure of those facilities, Mr. Kevin Urtubey.
How's it going? My name is Kevin Urtubey. I'm the IT director here for the Information Technology Services Department. Thanks for having me tonight. First couple slides, I kind of start with our department responsibilities. It's kind of a lot of things. I mean, even we work with Curtis almost every day dealing with HVAC systems, so you wouldn't think IT would be involved with that. We're involved with transportation. We're involved with food services. We kind of have our hands in just about every little thing from curriculum to the business office. So I'm not going to go through everything there because that's only a synopsis. I could probably do 15 slides on everything we have our hands in right now. So, but that's just our responsibilities continued. We're more than welcome to peruse that. Like you can see, we're also dealing with security. We deal with security cameras, the door access control, vape detectors. Everything's on the network these days. So the only thing I don't think we touch are lawnmowers and weed whackers, probably. You know, and that's probably coming. There's probably going to be some kind of drone weed whackers or lawnmowers in our future. There's that. Oh yeah, we touch phones, and we'll kind of get to that too. So even cell phones we're touching. So. But let's talk about what we've done so far. Like in the past year, we always have big projects. We're maintaining all this stuff, but we always have some kind of project that's coming up just to not only meet the district's needs, but also like future-proof us, allow us to grow into the future. So some things we do every year, I'm kind of going to skip some of the first parts, but we're doing Chromebook refreshes. We're doing the take-home devices. We always have to swap out the devices every year. That's becoming kind of a well-oiled machine. We're still tweaking some things there. We're always doing network upgrades to stay consistent, keep our stuff up to date. We're also, every year we're doing NJ Smart reporting, which is always evolving. They're always adding new requirements at the state. It's kind of frustrating. They've been doing it for 20 years. And sometimes, the databases don't keep up. So there's a lot of manipulation there. But the big thing we did this year is the phone system. So I'm sure a lot of people have seen that. It took a lot of planning going into that. It's also coordination with that because we can't take the phones down during the middle of the day, right? And to change 1,000 phone sets, you need a lot of time. So we took advantage of the fall break to do that cutover. And you won't be asking, why do we change the phones? The phones were all working great, right? Everything was working pretty good. But there were some features that we were missing. And at this point, we're also at an end-of-life phone system. We've been upgrading this phone system every 10 years or so. and it's pretty costly, and we're not gaining any features when we do those upgrades. So at this time, you kind of had to weigh the pros and cons, and we're like, should we bite this bullet and do this big project? And for the same cost, actually we did it less than we would have to upgrade our current system, and we got all new phone sets and got it installed. Additionally, there's support savings. We're paying a good amount every year to maintain an old system. So right now, for the next 3 years, we don't have to pay any support costs. So it's wrapped into that cost that we did for less than it was to upgrade current system. And after that 3 years, we're going to be saving about $40,000 a year in support costs. So that's part of the return on investment, but additionally, we gain a lot of features. Like some of the staff are seeing it. Everyone has a speakerphone in their room. Staff hands are full. Sometimes they have a crisis. They need to hit the speaker button. They can talk while they're dealing with a problem in their room. We gave security-related buttons for 911, paging all, a bunch of features. Some of the schools wanted nurse buttons, just quick buttons that they have access to now, too. There's additional features that really help my team out. It also helps future-proof my team, because now it's kind of a network device. It's easy for us to install. We don't really need any specialized wiring to add a new phone. We can do this wherever we can put a network drop, and we're pretty familiar with that. So not only that, the big thing that's coming by is we're kind of going to rebuild our community. We have outlying schools, Eagle Academy, Bargaintown School. They're kind of on an island out there. They have separate phone systems, separate networks. With this phone system, the next project, next phase of this is to expand to the Eagle Academy. So we're going to have phones in classrooms there, which they never had before. We're also going to put them on our phone system. They could just pick up the phone, down an extension like anyone else does in the district. So that's kind of unifying that school to us. And the next phase would be going on to Bargaintown. Right now they have a phone system through the Comcast phone system, but once that's done, we can kind of unify that. With the new project coming up, probably with Bargaintown School expansion, we can add our phone system there, and like I said, it'd just be like working in the district for them. So kind of bringing everyone back together, which I think is a great feature in itself. Where are we going forward? Stuff we're doing kind of all the time. Wi-Fi network's always being tasked. Probably at the high school, most people have 2 to 3 devices. So you just got to think that thousands of devices that are on network at a time. So we're always upgrading the Wi-Fi system. We're getting newer access points. We're in the middle of that project right now. We're starting to replace some older access points with newer equipment that can handle more density, more devices at one time. We're replacing our switches. We're always doing that too, but the big thing is we're replacing our old switches with PoE devices, which is called Power over Ethernet. So instead of running power to cameras, to access points, the switch not only supplies the data, the communications to the network, but it also supplies power. So we don't need an electrician anymore for a lot of our equipment, which is great. I noted the Bargaintown and Davenport expansions with preschool, some WAN link upgrades we've been doing. But the other big thing that everyone's pretty excited about is the esports lab. You kind of see a rendering up there. That's kind of been started with Mike Sweeter here. He's kind of like, this has been his child, but he's put us in a good place to continue it. Phase 1 completion should be done this spring. They're starting to do some of the electric work, I believe, over the break. And then we're waiting on some equipment, and they're hoping to be done by March. So you kind of see that there. There's also phase 2 that fortunately we had some E-rate reimbursement money from some of the equipment I purchased. So with that reimbursement funds, we're able to do phase 2, which is also the big, it's kind of hard to see in this rendering, but there's a big monitor wall in the back. It's a 120-some inch monitor there for whoever's in the space can view and see it for the shoutcasting and streaming services. So that's pretty exciting. I think there's been a lot of people involved with that, from facilities to the building personnel, so everyone's been great with that and patient with it. Getting this technology, we've had technology shortages, it's all starting to come around now and starting to come together. And then going forward, we still continue with our normal replacement plans. Like we're replacing computer labs. We have a couple more we're doing this year. Our Chromebook replacement plan, we're actually in a good shape with that. We replaced all the Chromebook cards. We finally completed it this year with Google's new update policy. All the devices are good to at least 2029 and beyond, which is pretty good. It puts us in good shape. There's still going to be breakage. There's still going to be damage, but we still account for that and budget for replacement devices every year. And then, of course, there's replacement of our take-home devices and our PoE switches. And with that, I just want to say thank you, but just a special thank you to all this planning, every budget we do, what makes our department successful is there's someone else that's always been involved with this. It's Mike Sweeter. His last day is Friday, and he's retiring finally. So I don't mean that finally in a bad way, but he's I've been here 20 years, and I was a tech, I was an engineer, and then I've been director for the past 10 or so. You're more than that. And Mike's always been there for me, not just as a mentor, not just as a peer, but also a great friend. Yeah. And he's definitely going to be missed, and I just want to say thank you. He's out there watching. What's that? Any questions?
Question?
Sure.
Yeah, Mr. Uberly, we're talking about the new phones and everything, and it's a very, very exciting concept. But the question I have about the phones, are they dependent on the internet? Is it phones over the internet, or are they separate from the internet? And if the internet goes down, do the phones go down?
Yeah, so they're IP phones, but they're not dependent on the internet. It's not cloud-based. We still host on premises. So if the internet goes down, you'll still have internal communications. But the backup system to that for emergency communications is we have, we call them 911 trunks. They're basically separate phone lines at each location. So if the internet does go down, and that's how the phone system was. It was dependent on the internet before for communications externally. But they use 911 trunks, so they're not depending on the internet to be up to make a 911 call or emergency call. And you can also call internally within the school as long as the internal network's up.
Okay, but the phones can still call out emergency services
Yes,
if
they
the
can.
internet goes down?
Yes.
The other thing I have was Eagle Academy. Are they using Comcast or Verizon phones?
Right now, they have a separate old phone system that we kind of repurposed 20-some years ago. So they're not using anything. They're just using internal phone, and they're using POTS lines, plain old telephone lines. That's what that means. Plain
So
old.
they're Verizon phone lines?
It's a Verizon line to that building, yeah, and that's just for their primary number.
Okay.
So they don't have phones in the classroom either, so that's a benefit they're going to get, so that they can
Right.
have internal communications and they can have emergency communications in each classroom.
Okay, I think that's important. Also, how many Chromebooks does the district have right now? Is it about 7,300?
We have about 10,000 now, if you include the staff.
Oh, it went up.
So we have,
10,000, okay.
Yeah, just staff and all other small rooms, MD rooms and stuff are starting to expand into that as well too. So the number's not very static. It's continuing to grow. People are budgeting. They're finding other purposes to use them with students that we didn't foresee having a need in the past, but now
And the
all
useful
the
life on a
curriculum's going
Chromebook
digital.
is what, like 4 or 5 years maybe?
Yeah, up until prior to this, Google had a 4 or 5 year update policy where they wouldn't support operating system updates, and they just a lot of pressure from school districts because it costs a lot of money to keep replacing these devices. They've extended it to 10, going back only a couple years. So stuff we've gotten around 2020, they've added like 10 years onto the life of it. So, and of course, you can't control the damage or just devices stop working, but I foresee us getting more than 5 years.
Problems where they come up with the adapters go missing from the Chromebook, right?
Not so much. They kind of standardized a lot of that stuff. Now it's all USB-C too. That's another reason we changed it all. So all the cards are pretty standardized now, no matter if we get new devices and such.
All right, well, thank you very much. Great job.
You're welcome. Anything else?
No? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you, Mr. Urtubey. Rolling right along down the road there, here she comes.
Twice in one
Director of
night.
Transportation, Ms. Michelle Fisher.
John said thank you. Good evening, everybody. I'm going to be short in the interest of time and the fact that I'm losing my voice, and just stick to the money end of it, if that's okay with everyone tonight. This is just a little bit about the transportation department, and as you can see, we transport quite a few students. We transport 8,401 students at the present time to various locations, even outside of the district, with a very limited staff. So it's a huge job. And in order to do all that and accomplish all of that, it all comes down to buses and money. We installed LED stop signs on all of our buses. We from last year's budget, and they're fabulous. They're obnoxious, but they're great. They're a great safety item for our students, which is the most important thing. We also have a 7-camera system, which we're going to try to continue with our newer buses that we're going to purchase to try to help with the red light runners. It's a problem. Our township is very, very crowded, a lot of traffic, a lot of construction, a lot of detours. It's ever changing. And again, our student safety is our primary concern. And anyway, you can see how many cameras and where they are and how they work, and they work really well. And PD works great with us and with the system. So when we ask for our new buses, as we do every year, buses are good for 15 years and they're done, mandatory regardless of what condition they're in. And I'm going to say the majority of them don't last 15 years because of the wear and tear. But the newer the buses, the less the parts, the less the tires, the diesel, everything. So that's what we're looking to do. We want to do some update training for our mechanics. But as far as the budget, the biggest, I should say, ticket item for us is buses. It's nothing new. It's just prices keep going up. Well, that'll depend. We don't know that answer yet. But we try to do 6, 7 every year because they rotate out. And this year is not a terrible amount, but next year is a huge number. So if we don't have to do a huge number at one time, it just makes it better to try to keep it going. Yeah. And of course, the newer the buses, naturally,
Michelle,
the better.
I want to commend you that I don't think the public knows how you literally, the buses have to come off the street, but then you use every part you can out of that bus before you scrap it.
Correct.
So that saves us in a lot of parts.
So we do sell those buses that once they age out, we do put them on a dealer website, and we do sell some of them. And the ones we can't sell, we strip them down, and then we sell the metal pieces.
That's
And,
great.
yeah.
Thank you.
So, and that's really all I have, except for thank you to everyone, because these safety features have been tremendous. So we thank you for that.
But I also want to emphasize, and what you shared with me, we still have, unfortunately, drivers who are running through a stopped bus with flashing lights. And these safety features are great, but we are pursuing. There's cameras on the buses, and this is a public service announcement. There's cameras on the buses. We will take snapshots of the license plate and report to EHTPD. And tickets have been issued.
Oh, yes, over 200 last school year, and climbing. I mean, it's incredible. Dr. Riccio will tell you she was on a bus when it happened and witnessed it and couldn't believe the things that people do. I don't think it's malicious, and I don't think it's intentional, but they're in such a hurry, and there's so much going on, and they're so preoccupied. But again, they're our students, and we have to keep them safe. So if that's what we have to do, that's what they have to do. And we pursue every single one, just so you know that. We go to court constantly.
You know how much the ticket is?
I do not. It's 3 points and a court fee. That's the minimum.
Points is big.
Could be 5 points, depending on what they do and what the video shows. But the cameras are fabulous. They catch everything. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Okay, we're cooking here. We got 3 out of 6 presentations done. Mr. Beck, you're up.
Kevin's good one.
Good evening, everyone, and happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everybody. My name is Tom Beck. I'm your food service director for the school district, and I would like to just briefly touch. I'm going to be breaking land speed records on our budget presentation, so we don't hold you up. So this is for the 24-25 dining services budget plan, and this is our road to success. I'd like to do a little bit of bragging about my staff. Since we've done our universal breakfast program, our staff has currently met our goals at 60%, and it's a huge positive effect for the community. The parents and the families are just very appreciative of that. So thank you for allowing us to do that this year. It's a big hit. I'd like to talk about the Bargaintown Pre-K expansion. Currently, for the second floor at the Bargaintown School, we satellite the food from the elementary school at Miller School, and that's approximately 180 meals, breakfast and lunch every day, in addition to the 1,000 kids that we feed, children that we feed in that building alone. So now with the numbers increasing, we had to find a different location, an additional location for that to happen, and that will be our Slaybaugh Elementary School, working with facilities. We're going to do a revamp of the kitchen. We have to pull out equipment, make preparation areas, add new equipment for my staff to prepare those meals. There'll be additional staff to help prepare the food, and we would definitely need an additional driver to help transport because our current driver is just too busy delivering food and communication, bank runs, things of that nature. So that's what we would like to do. We currently, well, I think that we're going to do history is it'll be an additional 45,000 meals on top of the 1.8 million that we serve in 180 days. So that's a good number. It's a good number for us, and we shouldn't have too much trouble with it. So, and cost to the township residents is 0. So if anybody has any questions about the equipment or our services.
I just have one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Comment. I know you brought it up before, I mentioned it before, and I thought it was a great idea. Anything with the food truck? I know you talked about that one as one of your things that maybe you wanted to create someday. Has there been anything going with the food truck? And explain what that concept was going to be all about.
Well, a food truck for the district, there's some challenges to that. Currently, we have about 70 employees, and out of the 70, there's 11 or 12 of us that are full-time. So that would have to factor into that because there would be some preparation for that at one of the buildings in order to get that truck filled with the food that meets the requirements of the USDA. So it wouldn't be quite as exotic as like a Brazilian, Korean type barbecue thing. You know, we would probably, if we were able to push forward with it, it would be something like cheesesteaks and something that meets the needs of the Department of Agriculture. So, I mean, they're out there, the trucks. I mean, wouldn't be too hard to obtain, but then you would need someone who would be able to handle that too. So, and then there might be transportation issues, you know, like licensing and things of that nature. So.
All right, well, I think it's something to think about, and
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes. All right, thank you very much.
You're
You're
welcome.
doing a great
You're
job.
welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Everyone have a nice night.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Tom.
You're welcome.
All right, time for the rookie. Mr. Brian Page, Director of Security. No worries.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. My name's Brian Page. I'm the Security Director here for Egg Harbor Township. Tonight, we're just going to talk about our budget for the upcoming 24-25 school year. Talk a little bit about some things that we accomplished in the short time that I've been here, and we'll talk a little bit about some of the current projects that we're doing now, or some of the things in the future for the next couple of years. So just an overview, really quick, of our security team. We have myself, the security director. We have an open position now for the security coordinator. We're made up of 25 security officers. We have 3 Class 3 officers with the help of Egg Harbor Township Police. With those officers, we cover all of our schools from Alder to Morgantown Elementary. We currently have 3 officers in our sub-pool that we pull from in case an officer's out sick or on vacation. Always make sure that we have our schools adequately staffed. And currently, we're made up of 11 armed guards with 17 unarmed guards. Some of the things, again, I've been here just only for a short while, but some of the things that we took a look at since I've been here, we've increased our security hours. We took a look at all of our schools, looking at the needs of our schools and the need for security personnel during different times, late night hours with Talons, and some of our other after-school programs, and we made sure that we had adequate security at each of those schools. So we increased our security hours for that. That created a floating program for our Class 3 officers, the ones that we use with the Harbor Township Police. That allows them to essentially float around the district to be able to handle a variety of different calls at different schools. They're not essentially tied to one school. If we have an incident, they can respond to any one of our schools. We've increased our police presence. We took a look at some things going on at all of our sporting events, and we felt the need, not for any particular reason, but just, again, in dealing with safety and security, we increased our police presence and our security presence at all of our sporting events. And we've upgraded our security uniforms just to give us a more higher visibility look so that in the need of an emergency or a crisis, our security guards are easily identifiable and they stand out a little bit more. Before they had just plain black shirts, and we found that they were just kind of not standing out in a crowd. They weren't blending. They were just essentially blending into the crowd. This next slide, I'll show you the blue shirt that we have, and you can see with the one security guard when they wear just the black. If there was a crowd of people, they would just kind of blend in. We're in the process of getting new jackets too in the future for them to kind of go with the high visibility shirts that we have. Some of our current projects that we're working on now, I'm really excited about the CRG mapping initiative. That's come in from the state. It's a statewide initiative. It's giving us the opportunity across the district to have 3D maps that make them more easily readable across the district. It makes it more easily readable for our first responders. And again, with any critical incident, as we're responding to these incidences, to have a 3D map that's more easily readable, that identifies where we're going quicker, that allows them to get to a point much quicker by looking at these maps. Ultimately, it's going to save time and it's going to save lives. Again, going with that same process, we're in the process of numbering all of our school perimeter doors. It goes along hand in hand with the 3D mapping initiative. Again, it's going to make all of our doors in the district easily readable, easily identifiable, so wherever we would be responding to, whenever some of these first responders are coming from outside the district to our schools, they're going to be able to identify these doors much quicker as a point of access, which again will save time and will save lives in the case of emergency. We're always looking to enhance our communication system, making sure that that's working at 100%. One of the things that I'm working on is training for security and for our staff, just making sure that we're completely up to date with our training programs for our critical incidents, our critical responses, for our drills and our planning. I'm going to be rolling out a security plan for our new hires, as well as our annual training for all our staff. And then we've developed threat assessment teams across the district for every school mandated by the state. And looking at some of my goals for the future, again, my thought process is going to be on training and preparedness across the board. So I want to increase our training. I want to increase our tactical training with Egg Harbor Township Police and our armed guards in the district. Again, I want to keep us up to date on our CPR, our CPI training, our de-escalation techniques, our annual training, and our onboarding training for all of our new hires. Look at the possibility of a command center for our security team, and I want to look at the possibility of going to mobile units for the late night hours when dealing with some of these. We have a lot of things that go on after school has closed, so these mobile units I think would be really helpful in responding to anything that we would have after hours to help our kids still enjoy all the things that we have here in the district for our after-school programs, all the things that they enjoy for sporting events. Just having these mobile units would be another point of contact for our security team. Again, looking ahead, again, I want to always look at upgrading our security equipment. As Kevin touched on, we have, we just implemented the new 911 for our phone systems. We're upgrading some of our security cameras and our vape detectors throughout the district. I think that's so important to keep up with our security equipment across the district. I want to look at new technology moving forward in the future to see if anything that is out there in regards to technology would be beneficial to our district. I think that's always important to keep looking at that. And again, the wonderful relationship that we have with Egg Harbor Township and the police department, the services that they provide our school district, is incredible. So I want to expand upon the resources that we have with them and expand upon some of the programs that we have with them. Looking into the future, just always expanding, having them in our school system, I think it's an incredible asset to our district. One of the things that would be needed if we did the mobile units would be a new vehicle for them so that they're able to again, patrol our districts, patrol our campuses in those late night hours. Again, just keeping with that continued cooperation that we have with Egg Harbor Township, and it's such a wonderful relationship that we have with them. They provide us with our Class 3 officers. Again, I want to expand the resources and all the things that they have to offer for our school system here in Egg Harbor Township. In conclusion, again, the goal of this budget for me is just to provide you with the resources, the training, the equipment, and everything that's needed to keep our students, our staff, and our community safe. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Any questions?
Well, more of a comment. I have questions, but they're security related, so I don't want to discuss anything specifically security related in public. But I just wanted to say you're doing a great job with your staff. It's the most important that the schools be safe and secure, and students feel safe and secure when they're here in the building. So appreciate it, and looking forward to good things. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Page.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Page. Okay, moving right along in the Rookie Department. Sorry, no pressure. Supervisor of Career Technology, Ready, Christina Kupczynski.
Hello, everyone. I'm Christina Kupczynski. I'm the new CTE supervisor here in Egg Harbor Township. And I just wanted to say I'm very excited and just to be a part of this program. And tonight we're going to give you a brief outline of the 3-year plan. Sorry. Now, last year's accomplishments. So I'm just going to go over some of the things that we have accomplished within the last 3 years. One of the big highlights, and I was able to get a good insight being a part of this and visiting the schools, meeting and building relationships with the staff, was the updated course programs and the offerings that we do give our students here in the township. We've added more work-based learning in our programs, including welding. We've also picked up marine technology at the high school and a few other partnerships, which is giving our kids that hands-on learning that they need for future careers in our world. We're expanding the community partnerships with our township and local businesses to provide our teachers and our staff with the learning that our kids need and the resources. We're updating our curriculum to support our literacy and also to adhere to our mission and our goal statement. And we've increased STEAM career programming across the district for elementary all the way up into the high school. Over the summer, we were able to do a lot of the STEAM enrichment classes. We offered aviation at the middle school. Also, we offered programs for our students in engineering. I actually got to be a part, which I was so excited about last fall, to go into the classrooms and see our little second graders just get excited about engineering and building things. So that was a real accomplishment. And we also offered that in all of our elementary schools. We plan to offer again in the spring, and then we'll continue to do so. One of the big push for our district for the CTE department is to improve our student achievement. And a way that we are doing that is by providing the STEAM initiative within our classes, along with literacy, social emotional learning. I'm not going to go through everything that's on the slide because I know there's a lot on there, but just some of the accomplishments, like we said prior, we did expand our computer science classes, our engineer course offerings. We've expanded our aviation academy, our robotics. We do have the esports, and I know Mr. Erdebe just touched on that at the high school, which we're super excited about. We had a couple competitions at the middle school for robotics, and we are having some more in January, which we are, again, super excited about. And we are providing that professional development for our staff for literacy, along with the social emotional learning to provide support to our staff and our students. Really moving forward for the following years, we're just going to continue to offer these course offerings and also look for student interest, along with implementing this innovation lab, which we'll go over in a few more slides. These are some pictures that I actually took when I went to the schools. After hours, there was a STEAM club and then the 2 STEAM enrichment classes. So I was really excited that I got a chance to go over there, visit them, see the teachers, and really see what the kids are doing. And they're doing amazing stuff. So I have been promoting this to our social media page and also promoting a lot of our things that the awesome teachers are doing. Another aspect that we are moving towards is the climate and culture. And again, we're just really trying to utilize the best practices and showcase our teachers and our social media and promote them in the schools. We're providing training for them, professional development to make sure that they are meeting the needs of our students. We're providing, in the future, we'll continue to provide that professional training and professional development and develop and expand on our program, our opportunities at the high school for our students to have those hands-on experiences, providing them with career fairs, things like that, that will give them the jobs that they need in the future. Here's two pictures, and that middle picture is our new program from the JROTC with Sergeant Valentine. He's doing an amazing job at the high school. The cadets are doing a great job, great work, and they're getting that comprehensive education at the high school level. The other two was our automotive. Our students actually went up to Pennsylvania and they got a chance to take a look at the engines, learn a little bit about how to put them together and all that fun stuff. And then the other one was our middle school that they were doing a STEAM enrichment actually during the day, so I got a chance to walk in and see that too. The last one for us is really the community pride and making sure that we're building those partnerships with our community and building those industry partnerships, because a big part of this program is making sure that we do have the resources we need to push forth these programs. So we have developed the community partnerships. We've really tried them the last, like I've only been here for the last 3 months, but we've really been trying to continue to build them, contacting local businesses, colleges, sitting down and meeting with them about dual credits, things like that to make our kids successful, either in a trade or a college bound, whichever they choose. So really the plan moving forward is to strengthen those partnerships and make sure that our kids have outlets and they have the tools that they need to be successful in our world and within the future. The last thing that we're going to talk about is really, and I'm so excited about this one, is the Innovation Lab. Here's some more pictures about like some of the partnerships that we did attend. The one was Davenport's Family Night, which was amazing. It was a nice turnout for the kids. We showcased a little bit about the CTE department. The middle one was the trunk or treat, so that was our fashion department. They dressed up. And then the last one was our fire department came and visited our little preschoolers at the high school. We also had South Jersey Gas come there last week, so we've been trying to really build and make sure that we utilize our local businesses and partnerships. Now this is the last one. I'm not going to go into too much detail because we're going to save a little bit of this for later, but we are excited about this Innovation 3-year plan. We came up with a strategic plan that's going to help us move forward with the success and utilization of the project and the plan. So it's just kind of a 3-year kind of outline for us, and we're going to give you a little bit more information later to come. Okay? And thank you so much. Oh, here's some ideas. We just put some pictures in there too of things that we would like to utilize within that lab as well. And thank you so much, and have a happy holiday. Does anybody have any questions?
No? Thank you very much.
Okay. Great job for all the presenters. I remind the board to refer back to our strategic plan. We are in year 2, and a lot of the ideas and requests that you'll see in the budget, which rightfully so, align to the strategic plan, but particularly with the CTE program, that we've made great strides and made, some moves, if you will, to increase vocational education, career and tech ed, to hiring of Dr. Graham as a vocational director. The connections are being made, the community connections are being made, and when Dr. Graham presents, you'll get to hear and see all the great things and progress that has been made thus far, and it's truly outstanding, and very, very proud of what we're doing in that department. But with that said, thank you again to our presenters. It gives the board an idea of where you've been, where you are, and where you need to go. All right? Okay, thank you, and that concludes the superintendent's report.
Okay. Yes. I didn't see you. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that, first of all the presentations were great, and I think that everyone's role and department plays a part in the district being successful. But I just want to say that for the CTE, I guess like similar to what Dr. Gruccio said, I think the growth in that program is amazing, and I think that that program is so inclusive of all the students that we have in our district, whether they're college bound, military, the workforce, and I think that's important because it just it's just a big umbrella that, you know, showcases all of our students' talents. So I just really get excited when I see the CTE department, and especially because it includes the preschool program that you have at the high school. Because both of my children went through it, and I was a student at the high school. When I was a student at high school, I was in that program and worked with the children in the lab. So to see that program's still a part of it, it's just really, it's exciting for me too. And my daughter's in it now, and she went over to visit at Davenport and Slayball, and she loved it. So it's a great program, and it's inclusive of all our kids and their different talents. So just wanted to say that.
Okay. Righty, we have students. Yeah, tell us what's going on at the high school or in the district.
Good evening, everyone. Starting out with some district-wide activity. Students are ready to start winter recess with a half day on Friday, and many schools are participating in Spirit Weeks this week. And special congratulations to all the teachers recognized throughout the district for Teacher of the Year. And moving on to Davenport. Davenport started their holiday concerts where families of the children were invited, and there's a concert tomorrow for the 3rd grade. Davenport's Parent Club had their annual holiday shop where students were able to purchase gifts for their loved ones during this holiday season, which is great. The Davenport complex will have their holiday party on the 21st during the school day. And moving on to Miller. Miller had a typing competition where students were practice typing, and the record was 9 hours and 39 minutes. Students and teachers are preparing their doors for the upcoming competition by completing classroom activities like math problems and a decorated piece. And the November SOAR positive office referral students were recognized as they were referred by faculty and staff for making good decisions and representing themselves in a positive way. And moving on to the performing arts. The 2 Agatha Christie plays were a big success, and the high school spring musical will be Chicago. Auditions have been held throughout the week. Alder and Fernwood had a joint winter choir concert on the 8th. The high school, Fernwood, and Alder had joint orchestra program had a joint concert last week. Many students were selected to join the All South Jersey ensembles from orchestra, band, and choir. The high school's choir was invited to record songs for Light Rock 96.9 and the Christmas chorale hosted by the Ocean City Tabernacle Church. Mr. Milnes received a $6,000 grant from Tanger Outlets under Eagle Records, and the Tri-M Music Honor Society will perform carols throughout the school on Thursday. Thank you all, and I wish everyone a happy holiday.
Starting off with sports, I want to congratulate Fernwood's Chess Club for earning their first victory as first-year competitors against Thorne Middle School in Middletown. They earned a 3-0 victory, and the team looks to continue winning as they play against Stafford Township this week. So good luck to them. And our high school girls basketball team has been off to a great start of 3 wins and 0 losses, so I hope they do well this season. Our Alders girls basketball too won the championships of the Ocean City Dixie Howell basketball tournament, so our EHT girls are on a roll. The track season is off to a great start with the high school competing in the bubble at Toms River, and the girls team as well came in 2nd place, so we're doing amazing. At Fernwood, so Fernwood began a 12 Days of Kindness holiday challenge where all convocation classes were given a poster with a tree and 12 blank ornaments on it, and each day the classes have been selected an act of kindness to do as a group, and students have been busy around the school thanking faculty, complimenting their peers, and performing acts of service, which is very, very cool to see. The Interact Club at the high school hosted a diaper drive and received loads of diapers in all sizes, tons of wipes, and plenty of creams. They'll be holding another drive after break for winter coats for those looking to contribute and give back to their community as well. At Alder's show and concert choir gave their middle school holiday concert last week. Also, the 8th grade students were visited by the high school JROTC and Alder alums. The students got to see a glimpse of what the program entails, how to apply, and the many benefits that come with the program. Alder also announced a musical for this May. They're going to be doing The Addams Family, and they'll be holding auditions when students return from winter break. Then last week, our Medical Science Academy seniors had an extraordinary opportunity to explore the cadavers lab, engaging in interactive learning through human cadavers. Students got to apply their knowledge, holding organs and seeing pathways throughout the body. Mock Trial also attended Princeton's annual fall conference, where they got to learn from the Princeton University students and kind of see the environment and get to explore their interest at the Ivy Leagues. And then our school-wide door decorating contest came to a finish after weeks of preparing. Some upcoming events: we have the high school's winter band concert on January 10th from 7 to 9 in the high school auditorium. We have the Unified Programs Flapjack fundraiser on January 6th at Applebee's in Summers Point. Tickets are $10 per person. Will be used to fund the amazing program. And the choir concert is tomorrow at 7 p.m. I just want to thank everyone and wish everyone a happy holidays.
Okay, thank you. Now we're going to move to public comment. While the board values and welcomes comments and opinions from residents, this meeting will now be open for public comment on the agenda only. If you have questions pertaining to litigation, student, or personnel items, please see the superintendent after the meeting, as the board does not discuss these matters in public. Depending on the nature and complexity of your questions, the board secretary may ask for your contact information so that someone can get back to you with a response. As a reminder, this is a public meeting, and all comments should be made appropriate for a public setting and made in a respectful manner. So if you wish to speak, please come to the podium and state your name and address. Okay, seeing none, we're going to move to finance. Mr. Smith, you have an update for us?
Yeah, there were a few questions that came in regarding the bills list and some purchase orders. Information was sent out this afternoon. I just want to note there's a question on the outdoor classrooms. That project is being funded with ARP ESSER funds. We're trying to get that done ASAP. And then the other question regarding renovations at Bargaintown, we have to submit that project to the NJDOE as if it were our own building, even though we're the tenant, because it will be used for instructional space. So if anyone has any other questions, I can answer them when you have them.
Our Finance Operations Committee met on December the 12th at 6 p.m. Our meeting was 45 minutes long, which is great. We're happy about that. Mr. Price, Mrs. Szilagyi, Dr. Gruccio, Mr. Smith, and myself were in attendance. We first covered transportation, and Mr. Smith noted the various community events that the transportation staff took part in recently. This is our transportation department that drives our kids, but still, after being overworked there, they do a food drive, a turkey trot, and shop with a hero. They provided buses for all that. Food service department, Mr. Smith noted that Mr. Beck is continuing to work on the participation in universal breakfast, which we saw on his slides. Facility department is looking at ways to increase custodial substitutes, and the maintenance staff always does a great job maintaining all of the district's heating systems, so we thank you for that. Business office, Mr. Smith noted that the business office is preparing for the NJDOE desk audit of federal grants, and it must be submitted by December 15th. It was submitted. Mr. Smith reviewed several items on the agenda for approval. What we look at in the Finance and Op are monthly reports, professional contracts, out-of-district tuition contracts, withdrawal from capital reserve for the 22-23 year, NJDOE project submission for the preschool expansion, as Mr. Smith stated, and an award of a bid for those outdoor classrooms. Mr. Smith reviewed projected enrollment with us, and he'll continue to do that, or he'll continuously do that. The committee reviewed preliminary 2024-25 budget information, including areas that need further examination, such as special ed, out-of-district tuition, insurance, and the reallocation of recurring expenses from ARP, ESRA, back to the general fund. Our next meeting is to be determined. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Does anybody have anything to add? Okay, we need a motion for 8.2.
Mr. Price, I'll make that motion.
And I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Bongiorno?
Yes.
Mr. Delabarka?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilbert Floyd?
Yes.
Ms. Hyman?
Yes.
Mr. Ireland?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Seppi?
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan?
Yes.
And Mrs. Slog.
Yes. Okay, now we need a motion for 8.3 to 8.22.
Motion.
Second, Ireland.
Roll call?
Mrs. Bongiorno?
Yes.
Mr. Delabarka?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilbert Floyd?
Yes.
Ms. Hyman?
Yes.
Mr. Ireland?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Seppi?
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan?
Yes.
And Mrs. Slog.
Yes. Okay, Ms. Moss for updates on curriculum. You don't have any, okay. Ms. Bongiorno?
Good evening. Our meeting was also held on December 12th at 7 p.m. The length of our meeting was an hour 15. We have some talkers. In attendance was myself, Ms. Bongiorno, Ms. Hyman, Ms. Gilbert Floyd, and Mrs. Salagi. Also, administrators attending was Dr. Gruccio, Mr. Tolan, and Ms. Moss. Our committee reviewed professional development and field trips. Pamela Salenza spoke with our committee about the New Jersey CAP program and specifically the programming for preschool students preventing abuse. Mr. Tolan also spoke to the program about the importance of it being in compliance with the Aaron's Law. Universal screening data was also shared with the committee, as well as the current plans to use the data for instruction and support. The creation of MD classrooms at Swift Slayball Complex was shared and plans for it to grow. The committee was also informed about a helicopter visit in the spring for the preschool. Possible topics for next meeting will be program studies for the high school, and our meeting will be held sometime in January to be determined upon the reorganization. And that's it.
Okay. We need a motion for...
Motion.
Second, Mr. Price.
9.2 through 9.4. Roll call?
Mrs. Bongiorno?
Yes.
Mr. Delabarka?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilbert Floyd?
Yes.
Ms. Hyman?
Yes.
Mr. Ireland?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Seppi?
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan?
Yes.
And Mrs. Salagi.
Yes. Okay, Dr. Charlton, do you have anything for personnel?
Mr. President, as Mr. Tran mentioned, the schools decided on their Teachers of the Year and Educational Service Professionals of the Year for next year. So the teachers will have the opportunity to now compete in the County Teacher of the Year program. And then that files into the State Teacher of the Year program, which ends in the spring, which traditionally is when the board welcomes all of our teachers and ESPs in the spring to be honored here at a meeting.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're going to move on to 10.2 to 10.9. We need a motion.
So made.
Roll call?
Mrs. Bongiorno?
Yes.
Mr. Delabarka?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilbert Floyd?
Yes.
Ms. Hyman?
Yes.
Mr. Ireland?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Seppi?
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan?
Yes.
And Mrs. Salagi.
Yes. Dr. Gruccio?
Okay, the moment you I know most of you have been waiting for, as we announce and recognize new staff to our school district. Okay, we'll begin with custodian at Fernwood Avenue Middle School, Preem Rana Magar. PSD program paraprofessional at Swift Slayball Complex, Lisa Cabrera. MD program paraprofessional Davenport, Danielle Pisano. MD Program Paraprofessional at Fernwood Middle School, Alyssa McKenzie. MD Program Paraprofessional at Davenport, Jarima Fay. POR ICR Compliance Paraprofessional at Miller School, Aaron Reed. MD Program Paraprofessional at Davenport, Milda Alisauce Kate. MD Program Paraprofessional at Davenport, Kaylee Cooney. Social Worker at the Swift Sleigh Ball Complex, Victoria Davenport. A teacher at the Swift Sleigh Ball Complex, Maria Nistico. A teacher at Alder Avenue Middle School, Marco Griddick. Also a teacher at Fernwood Avenue Middle School, Kayla Bashan. And teacher at Alder Avenue Middle School, Emma Klein. Congratulations, everyone, and welcome aboard. Now's your time to go celebrate. Happy holidays.
Okay, Mr. West, do you have any updates?
No updates at this time, Ms. Salagi. Thank you.
Mr. Ireland?
All right, I'll give my committee report to the packed house. So, thank you. So we held, the policy committee was held on Tuesday, December 12th for 41 minutes long. Board members that attended were myself, Mr. Seppi, Mr. Del Barca, and Mrs. Salagi. Administrators that attended were Dr. Gruccio, Mr. West, and others was Ms. Guilford. And our subjects that we discussed was policy 4281, inappropriate staff conduct, policy 6115.04, federal funds duplication of benefits, regulation 6115.01, federal awards funds internal controls, allowable cost, bylaw 0155, board committees, policy 3280, liability for pupil welfare, policy 5460.02, bridge year pilot program, policy 5516.01, use of electronic or digital recording devices, policy 5519, and regulation 5519, dating violence at school, policy 5520, disorder and demonstration, policy 5533, student smoking. So the conclusions that were reached: policy 4281, inappropriate staff conduct, policy 6115.04, federal funds duplications of benefits, and regulation 6115.01, federal awards and / funds internal controls allowability are up for a second reading and waiting board approval. Bylaw 0155, board committees was discussed and revised by the policy, finance, and curriculum committees. Duties of standing committees language was added to the bylaw. Bylaw 0155 is up for one reading and waiting of board approval. Policy 3280, liability for pupil welfare, was discussed and revised by the committee. Supervision of children and communication language was added to the policy. Policy 3280 is up for one reading and waiting board approval. Policy 5460.02, bridge year pilot program, was discussed and would like to be abolished by the committee. Policy 5460.02 is up for one reading and waiting board approval. Policy 5516.01, use of electronic and or digital recording devices, was discussed by the committee. Policy 5516.01 and policy 5516, remotely activating communication, will continue to be discussed and revised by the policy committee and school administration over the next 2 months. Both policies will be up for discussion at the next policy committee meeting in February. Policy 5519 and regulation 5519, dating violence at school, was discussed and revised by the committee. Proper notice and reporting language was added to the policy and regulation. Policy and regulation 5519 is up for one reading and waiting board approval. Policy 5520, Disorder and demonstration was discussed and revised by the committee. Disciplinary measures and statute language was added to the policy. Policy 5520 is up for one reading and waiting board approval. Policy 5333, student smoking, was discussed and revised by the committee. Training in electronic smoking devices language was added to policy. Policy 5333 is up for one reading and waiting board approval. Board approved regulations 6000 series has been uploaded for the website on the website for public view. Our next meeting will be in February to TBD. Possible topics to be discussed at the next meeting will be possible creation of policy 4280 support staff, revision and accommodation of policy 5516 remotely activating communications, and policy 5516.01 use of electronic or digital recording devices, and then revision of policy 2561 therapy animal. That's all I have. I just wanted to say thanks because this is our last that was our last committee meeting before the reorg. So I just wanted to say thank you to my colleagues, Mr. Del Barca and Mr. Seppi, and to Mr. West for honestly doing a lot for the district. We accomplished a lot throughout the whole year, and we are the best committee. So that's all I have. So Mr. West, pending if I messed up anything, your direction, sir.
Nice job, Mr. Ireland. Thank you.
That's it, Mrs. Sloggy.
Okay, we need a motion for
Motion, Della Barca.
11.2 through 11.11.
Motion, Della Barca.
Oh, okay. Did you get that, Mr. Smith? Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Bongiorno?
Yes.
Mr. Delabarka?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilbert Floyd?
Yes.
Ms. Hyman?
Yes.
Mr. Ireland?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Seppi?
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan?
Yes.
Mrs. Sloggy?
Yes. Okay, new business. EHT Parks and Recreations like to use our bus. We need a motion.
Mr. Price, I'll make that motion.
Second, Bongiorno.
Roll call.
Mrs. Bongiorno?
Yes.
Mr. Delabarka?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilbert Floyd?
Yes.
Ms. Hyman?
Yes.
Mr. Ireland?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes.
Mr. Seppi?
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan?
Yes.
Mrs. Sloggy?
Yes. Okay, old business is to affirm HIB reports. Need a motion.
Motion.
Second, Ireland.
Roll call.
Mrs. Bongiorno?
Yes.
Mr. Delabarka?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilbert Floyd?
Yes.
Ms. Hyman?
Yes, except for, going to abstain from number 8. Yes for the rest.
Mr. Ireland?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
No.
Mr. Seppi?
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan?
Yes.
And Mrs. Sloggy?
No. Okay, communications. You have your board calendar. Mr. Ireland, do you have report for,
I think I'm going first.
okay, go first.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lou Della Barca. I'm past president of Atlantic County School Boards Association, and I'm on the board of directors for the New Jersey School Boards Association. Just a brief report, the New Jersey School Board Association has basically a monthly meeting of county leaders from around the state. It's usually virtual, and we had our last meeting on December 11th at 5:00 p.m. And basically, there were about 45 participants from all over the state. County leaders like to discuss things that they occur in their county. And our new vice president for county activities, Barry Fitzgerald, actually led the meeting. And what he wanted was a review of some of the activities during the past several months since September that have occurred in every county. So many of these people just discussed their activities. Then what the next thing that they concluded with was some future plans. So there were some activities planned for the future. And it was kind of an interesting meeting, but it was a brief meeting, and basically it was a time to say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everybody. I also like to talk about the Atlantic County School Boards Association meeting that many of us attended last week, and I'm going to ask Mr. Ireland to make a report on that topic because it really pertains to activities that are going on here in our district also. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you, Mr. Delbarka. So I'll just give a quick, brief, couple-minute just explanation of kind of what we did. So we met, it was the Atlantic County School Boards Association. I'm the vice president for that. Attended was Mrs. Sloggy, Mrs. Sullivan, Mr. Delbarka, Mr. Price, myself, and Ms. Hyman. So we met in Absecon. Some of it was virtual as well. The topic for discussion was the therapy dog. And I got to say, I've only been involved with New Jersey School Boards or Atlantic County School Boards Association for 2 years now, a little 2.5 years now. And that was probably the best presentation I have ever gotten from any kind of organization or anything. Mr. Del Barca, maybe you can agree to that for the past couple of years, but that was by far the best and most beneficial topic that we discussed. Basically, Absecon, that's where we held it. It was December 5th. We talked about developing therapy animal programming in schools. It was in conjunction with Rowan University and the Schreiber Family Pet Therapy Program that they have over there. Dr. Dooley is the superintendent for Absecon Schools. You could see how passionate he is in the program. It was just amazing. And anybody that attended, please speak up if you have anything extra. But I just wanted to say that they touched 600 kids, basically 30 handlers for the program for about $3,000, no insurance increase or anything like that. It was just amazing what their numbers were and how they could de-escalate a situation in a matter of seconds, and it was proven by data that these dogs could do. It was just really, really good. Did anybody else have anything? I have the presentations here. We have it in, and I have it in email. I have their policy, I have their regulation. If anybody wants to see anything, we can all just, I can share it with everybody, or Mrs. Sloggy, I can give it to you and you can give it to the board. But that was just truly amazing. It was really nice.
Yeah, they did a great job in explaining how they got there and what they're doing on a day-to-day basis, and the number of children that were
It made me very
big time.
It made me very proud that we have started
Yeah, we
using
could
the
brag
therapy
about that.
dogs in our district.
Yeah.
And I did turn over that to Dr. Gruccio, so she has that. But I don't have the slides online.
Mrs. Sloggy, I have the slides online. I can send it to you, and if you can just share it with the rest
Or
of the
even
board
if-
and board docs and
Even if
whoever
you're
needs it.
interested in looking at it, because, I mean, like, it seemed like they were, like, really ahead of us.
I know Ms. Crigno went to visit and spoke to Dr. Dooley and, conferred with him and as well as Rowan when we began our program. And I just saw your picture. We have about 12, 13 handlers now, 2 dogs, making a difference. And I've asked Ms. Crigno to collect some data so that she can present in the new year, give you an update as to how well our program's going. So I think you'll enjoy that and see that we've made strides.
Very good.
And just one more point, our next Atlantic County School Board meeting is on February 6th, and it's a virtual meeting, so all of us can attend. All right, thank you.
I have a comment on school board.
Yes.
If I may. I attended the legislative committee last Saturday virtually. I don't know if anybody else did from Egg Harbor Township, but there was a lot of good information that was shared. I'll just speak about a few things. The governor action, these are things that the governor has actually signed into law. They talked about alternative teaching certificates, educational scholarship programs, electric school bus programs. It makes supplemental appropriations of $15 million to the DEP for implementation of electric school bus program. So these are things that we need to keep an eye out. These are signed into law and they're coming. So I just want to make everybody aware of it. They talked about food waste that authorizes schools to receive certain food waste from other schools and provide exemption to such receiving schools for certain DEP permits under certain conditions. On the governor's desk, security drills with students with disabilities, the School Security Safety Task Force establishes School Safety and Security Task Force, which is an important thing and things that are happening. School audit delay talks about extending the deadline for completion of a school district's annual audit for various reasons. And this is on his desk, so we're going to see if he signs it. Bills that are on the move. Contracted employee virtual instruction requires boards of education to directly employ certain professionals and permits boards of education to contract for certain personnel and permits use of virtual and remote instruction for public school students in certain circumstances. That's something important. We've all been through it, but this is actually going to become, hopefully, the way the things are going, it will become law. Teacher evaluation frequency revises a schedule for summative evaluations of certain education professionals, limits collection of teacher-generated student growth data. That's in there. Again, these are all, you can review them publicly on New Jersey School Boards Association if you wanted to follow along with me or if you had any questions. I'm just trying to hit things. If there's something of interest, you can go there and see for yourself. Let's see. I've got another one here I wanted to share with you. Okay. They talked about April elections, maybe moving school board elections back to April. They talked about how it's become political in certain areas and maybe it was something. They're going to look at maybe cost effectiveness if they were going to move them back to April. Some districts still are in April. Proposed dates. Bills on the move, staff shortage initiatives, student teacher scholarships, novice teacher database, expedited certification route for paras, eliminating basic skills requirements, and a Montessori pathway, which establishes a teacher certification route for candidates with this teaching credential. Lots of things here. Staff shortage initiatives, tax deduction for classroom supplies, easy transfer of county college credits, mentoring teachers, VTech pilot programs, cooperative purchasing, anti-privatization laws regarding public service contracts, compensation, transparency, and job postings. Want to make sure that we get job postings out there and they're transparent. These are bills on the move. School facilities, model school design, charter products. That wouldn't affect us so much. That's for charter schools. Curriculum and instruction. Here's a good one. Fire Academy credits. Permits students to be eligible for high school graduation credits in health, safety, and physical education for completing a county fire academy course under certain circumstances. So that's interesting. We can always use more volunteer firefighters. Graduation requirements. We talked about school bus cameras earlier. Well, that's bill number 8545. That's discussing a lot of the things that we talked about tonight. Authorizes use of school bus monitoring systems. So these are more than a few, but many, and there's many more that I just wanted to share. And again, if there's anything of interest, feel free to go to the New Jersey School Boards Association website and click down on it and get all the information that you need. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Madam President, just may I make a comment to thank Mr. Price. For those of you who don't understand, Mr. Price is Vice President for Legislation for the Atlantic County School Boards Association. That's why he attended that meeting and is making that report. So thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Lou. And yeah, it is very important because it affects, we talk about New Jersey School Boards Association a lot here. And we're privileged to have three of us that are on, the Atlantic County boards. We have, two vice presidents and we have Lou. And so EHC is well represented on the Atlantic County School Boards Association. And we got a pretty good name with the New Jersey School Boards Association. They kind of know us by name and we have a good relationship with them. So we're getting some things done. So thank you.
Mrs. Sullivan and I drove up to where was that? Mercer County, and attended this delegate assembly also. And it was very interesting, the different things that are coming down the road as far as in education, and the way that different districts have different problems and how they were trying to rectify it. So we learned a lot up there that day.
I just wanted to comment, this was separate from that. This was just last Saturday, and I was virtual with the delegate assembly too. But this was just Saturday, what I talked about here, just to clarify.
I just want to let the board know that I shared Ms. Carugno's presentation that she shared with the Board of Education, I guess it was last spring. So just refresh your mind what our Pulse program is about. All right, so I shared it right now, so, okay.
Sure. Just want to say I had the pleasure of attending the orchestra winter concert at the high school on December the 14th. The kids played very well. They were amazing. And the music, the music was it really, they sound like professionals. It was so good. I really love music. I have a love for music, so I really enjoyed myself. So I just want to say the kids that they really did their thing.
That's nice. Okay. We also attended the JIF Awards. Do you know exactly offhand how much we received? $1,500? Okay. We got $1,500 for awards from our joint insurance fund. Okay, now we're going to open to the public again. Is there on any topic? If anybody has anything to say?
I'm going to be super brief.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Jackie Caruto. I just want to thank you guys for the dog therapy program. And I know we talk about data. I want to tell you the other day we had a special needs student who refused to go to his next class for about 25 minutes. We brought the dog in there. 4 minutes later, I'm ready to go. So it happens. I've seen it, and we'll get that data for you because it's amazing walking down the halls. And the kids aren't excited to see us anymore. They are like, oh my gosh, it's Charlie, it's Marty. And it's a very good program. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hi. My name is Casey Hearn.
Get closer to the mic or turn the mic on.
Is it on now? Oh,
Yes,
okay.
you're good.
Hi, my name's Casey Hearn. I'm a junior at the high school, and I'm here for the EHT crew team about getting parking spots at the school. I have my email here. So the spring crew season is 12 weeks. It's the last week of February to the last week of May. During the season, we're required to attend practice at the Ventnor Boathouse every weekday after school, and we try to get there at 2:45 at the latest, and school finishes at 1:55. So that's about like 45 minutes to get there. It's about a 25-minute drive when there's no traffic, which is uncommon. And usually we have to have our parents drive us because last year the school provided transportation, but only for about 4 weeks out of the 12. And they only provided one bus for both the girls and the boys crew team, which this year there's about 40 girls on just the girls crew team. So we like carpool with the other girls, but all of our parents work full-time jobs, so it's very hard to plan around their job schedule. And a lot of the girls this year, including myself, will be getting our license. So I think it would make it a lot easier for the parents and for the girls if we were to be allowed to park at the school so that we could drive ourselves to practice every day. I know that the Medical Science Academy and a few other academies are allowed parking spots so that they can drive to their field work, which we need to drive to practice. So I think that it would be fair.
I think that you need to talk to Mrs. Crigno, she's your principal, about this.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you talked to her?
Yeah, I did email her. There.
I didn't get your email, sorry. I know Mr. Biggins thought. I think he got me.
Oh, I emailed somebody.
Well, Mrs. Carigno is the person that you should be talking to about that. But apparently there's not enough buses to carry girls and boys separately, from
Right.
what I'm told.
Yeah.
But Mrs. Carigno can help work out your problems.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you for coming most of the year. We appreciate our audience, and we hope you have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yes.
I just want to respectfully disagree with Mr. Ireland. with his earlier statement that the policy committee was the best committee. I'm just saying. I like to think that all of our committees are wonderful. And I know policy does drive decisions in the district, but we will be nowhere without curriculum. So I just want to say that.
Well, now I feel guilty,
We just let him think that.
Okay, all
because
right, and
it
finance,
helps.
we need
It helps
finance, we need all three.
In that frame of mind.
And personnel, but it's okay. We'll let you, so are we gonna announce who won the ugly sweater contest?
Oh, yes. Who won the ugly sweater
We'll let
contest?
Mr. Irvin.
So we're on our second annual competition for the board to do the ugly sweater. I won the first year, so obviously I had to let it go. So I didn't dress up that well for this time, so I kind of wanted to get somebody else to win it. And the winner was Mr. Seppi this year. It's very ugly.
Of course. I'm so honored to be the worst dressed person in the room. So what I did was a tailcoat with a tracksuit. Is that big margin I won by?
So next year, people step up the game.
Yes, we will.
Madam President?
Thank you.
Yes.
I have one quick comment I just wanted to check on. At the last meeting, there were a couple of public comments, but one of them was, the first was asking the board to consider having the district add a girls' golf program. Has there been any development on that? Have you heard anything more since the last meeting about the girls' golf program?
No, I haven't heard anything.
So we're still looking into this?
I presume.
No updates at this point?
No.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay. I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion, Ireland.
Second, Sullivan.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Look at the audience.
I think